Content creators have either been exposed or accused of being a bad person. So many people we have trusted and put a lot of faith in have turned out to not be the best, and honestly, that's not surprising. When you become more well known, not only do you gain more opportunities, you also gain a bit of power, and that power leaves an imbalance between celebrities and their fans. And people aren't aware or deliberately downplay how much of an imbalance there actually is. When you're a fan of someone and the things they create, it's harder to see them in a harsher light. So what do you do when a creator you really like is outed as a bad person? Step 1. Don't panic. This one seems obvious, but it's insanely easy to jump to the first frantic emotions you might feel in the moment. But that's the absolute worst thing you can do, especially if you yourself are a creator, well-known or otherwise. You might feel angry, anxious, or incredibly sad depending on the severity of the charges. The best thing to do when you see something like that is to not panic and take a step back. Reacting right away to allegations you just heard is a good way to put your entire foot in your mouth. Best case scenario, the allegations are correct and you responded with emotion and said something either harsh or entirely emotional. So what should you do instead? Step 2. Research. If you can on your own, try to backtrack the claims to their original source. This isn't easy, as when allegations come out, the original accusations either get overshadowed by everyone reacting at once, or it could make the original accuser feel overwhelmed and they may delete their original post, and as a result, delete any necessary context that you may need. The best thing to do then is see if you can find the original post and save it to any device you can. However, if the allegations are a bit dated or the post has been deleted, it's important to try to get that original context. A few ways you can go about this is either asking someone you know who might be more familiar with the allegations, or finding a video on TikTok or YouTube that goes deeper into the allegations themselves. If it's a big name, chances are you won't have to wait long, but if it's a significantly smaller creator, you probably have to wait around a bit more. It's important to verify a few things along this journey. What is the nature of the allegations themselves? Is it a personal disagreement between creators? Or is it more serious, like accusations of misconduct or abuse? And the important question is it worth getting involved in? Step 3. Picking a side. This is something you don't want to rush to do. I know depending on the nature of the allegations, you want to start your support for the victim as soon as possible, but the internet is not the justice system, and you guys are not judge, jury, and executioner. Let the other side respond and give them time to give their side of the story. For all you know, the accuser could be the abuser in the situation, and if you wish to support whoever speaks first, then you are unintentionally siding with an abuser. Support the victim always, but you have to know exactly who the victim is in every case. An important case study in a situation like this is what happened with Quite. For those who don't know, in 2023, Quite made a response to a series of allegations that had been made about him over the years, all connected to a person named Orion. The allegations were of misconduct, sexual assault, and just being an awful person / friend in general. The allegations were generally ignored by Quite until they resurfaced in 2022 / 2023, and Quite himself was doxxed. He understandably took a hiatus and came back with a very rich response with receipts and explanations for everything. Before that point, everyone assumed he was guilty despite the lack of evidence. Speaking personally, it is a huge pet peeve of mine when someone comes forward with malicious intent. Actually, pet peeve is downplaying my anger. It really pisses me off. Not only do you potentially put another person's well-being or livelihood in jeopardy, but you also contribute to the unfortunate cycle of false claims, which hurts actual victims and makes people less likely to believe them. If you are someone who genuinely believes you have been abused by a content creator, not only do I encourage therapy, if you still want to come forward, talk to an unbiased party and show them evidence you want to come forward with. Step 4. So what if the allegations are true? Took my advice, waited to hear both sides, and saw all the evidence, and your favorite content creator is completely in the wrong. Well, what should you do? Honestly, it depends on the severity of the allegations. A content creator who lied or was a jerk to a fan one shouldn't be on the same level as someone who groomed a child. But for the sake of the argument, let's say this content creator is out as an abuser. Someone who, let's say, was physically and mentally abusive to their former partner who has since spoken out. In this scenario, it's important to pull all support for this person as much as you can. Unfollowing their social media, telling their friends what happened, and just generally being cautious around posts about them is a good start. But it gets more complicated if this creator is an artist of some kind. Say this creator is a musician and you really like their music, or it helped you during hard times. It's hard to let go of things that we really care about, even after knowing and acknowledging its creator is a bad person. So what if you don't want to support the creator, but you also still want to listen to the music they create? Well, there's several ways to go about it. You can exclusively listen to their music on sites or links that don't financially support them. You can download songs directly to your computer or phone so listening to music doesn't directly support their income. And if you're a physical music kind of person, buying their CDs or merch secondhand, if you absolutely want to, is a good way to get content without supporting the the original artist. It's also very important to not recommend or endorse the creator in question and to acknowledge how bad their actions were and that you don't support them. Okay, I hear you, Tiny. I can hear you typing in the comments with your loud ass keyboard. But why can't they just not listen to them anymore? It's not that hard. And to that I say, well, not for you. And it's not hard for me. But music is a massively important medium that people use to express themselves with. While you may hear the allegations and immediately detach from the music, another person might have a reason for staying. Maybe the music helped them through a tough time, or maybe it's something that reminds them of a loved one, or hell, maybe they just find the melody particularly soothing and nice. You don't know what someone might be going through, and immediately insisting that they throw away something they've grown attached to without any emotion is not only insensitive, it's cruel. I want to make a video on this subject later down the line, but people can still enjoy things made by bad people, and it doesn't make them a bad person. The only condition is that you have to acknowledge that the person who made it was in the wrong. Unless the art an artist makes is a direct endorsement of abuse or scummy behavior, it's perfectly acceptable to separate it in your mind. You can enjoy Harry Potter and its magical world while still acknowledging that J.K. Rowling is a TERF. You can like Wilbur Soot's album, Your City Gave Me Asthma, and also condemn his abusive behavior towards Shelby during their relationship. Consume media, but do it critically and mindfully. Step 5. Acceptance. So what do you do after all that? Well, honestly, you find something else. Someone else. For example, if you liked Wilbur Soot and Lovejoy's music, but don't like them, you'll want to find something similar to fill that void. There's a site that I'll link down below that lets you put in a song or artist, and it gives you songs that sound similar or in similar playlists. It's very useful for not only finding new artists in general, but even finding smaller ones that need your support. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you liked the video, please consider supporting me on Ko-fi so I can make more content like this in the future. I think I'm gonna actually put some bloopers in the end here because I had a lot of bloopers and I think some of them are funny. So while the end card is playing, I'm just gonna play some bloopers in the background. Also, if you like my art and want to commission me, that and my Ko-fi will be linked below. Take care of yourselves and please tell your loved ones that you love them. Goodbye quiet until the... Oh my god. This is torture. These allegations were generally... Oh my god, fuck you. If I just ate my entire microphone. Just... I got... Alright. I wanna... my mic the whole time. Oh my god, okay. Consume media, but do it critically and mindfully. Which you think would be common fucking knowledge, but it's never common knowledge. That's not what that says. Duh.